Hi, I'm Mike, owner of the Ingram in Phoenix, Arizona. Today I'm doing the new arrival video for October 17, 2025, and this has got to be one of the absolute best weeks of the year. There are so many killer titles in this new arrival week. I actually want about 10 of these myself. I'm actually going to take about 10 of these myself. So a ton of killer stuff to show you guys. Audiofile records, great titles, unreleased stuff, new recent, I mean, just you name it. There's a bunch of killer stuff here. That's the moral of this story. Okay. Two pre-orders to tell you guys about. There's more, but I'm just going to highlight two because there's so much killer stuff to get to. Starting with last week, Analog Productions announced they are doing the speed-corrected version of Miles Davis's Kinda Blue. Quick backstory, I'll tell you what it is. Classic Records did this exact same thing a couple decades ago, and this is essentially a repressing of that using the Classic Records stampers. So originally, Kinda Blue, when it was recorded, the reel-to-reel that was recording the stereo was running a little slow. So the first three tracks of the album are actually like a quarter tone sharp. It's like the most minute detail, but I remember reading a story about it, how a couple of musicians were trying to transpose the piece and they just couldn't figure out like what was going on. Turns out they weren't playing it in that way. It was the recording process that changed the sound. So in the 90s, they went back, they discovered this, and there was a few attempts to correct it. Classic Records corrected it with the speed-corrected version, and then I think Sony did as well, maybe in a digital version. Like, that's a rough history of the backstory. So what this is tracks 1, 2, and 3, speed-corrected. Side 2, never had an issue. So that's disc 1, all analog, cut from the master tape by Bernie Grundman. And like I said, speed corrected, side 1. There's a bonus disc. Disc 2 is the original uncorrected speed version, and then a bonus track of Flamingo sketches, an alternate take. So a really cool piece. I have one myself. You know, it's a 33 RPM, 2-disc set. If you're a fan of the record, it's kind of a cool little piece. But yeah, that is coming out sometime at the beginning of next month. You know, I'll get it in stock sometime, November. Guns N' Roses, the Live Era, 1987 to 1993. This is a 4 LP box set. It comes out November 21st. I also wanted to mention the trade-in program. I haven't mentioned it to you guys in about a month. It's been going really strong. So I'll reiterate one more time. If you have records that are over $100 individually, not 10 records that total $100, and not box sets, so an individual record, $100 record, you want to trade it into the store, you can go onto the website. This is for locals. This is also for people all over the United States. I get people sending me packages like crazy now. You go into the website, you'll see a button that says Trade My Records. Fill that out. You'll get instructions on how to send them to us. Once I receive them, I will essentially go over them. I will tell you what I'm going to sell it for, and then I will give you 75% of that in store credit. If you have a record that is a $1,000 record, and I just got a stereo butcher in recently, $1,000 record, actually you can go on the pre-owned section and really see a lot of what I've been getting in. If you go on the website, pre-owned section, pretty much every single record that I've listed, the last maybe 150 records, have all been from the trade-in program. But if it's a $1,000 record, you're going to get $750 added to your in-groove store account. So that essentially is, you have a username and password or a username for your account. When you go to checkout, you will see your store credit as a line item, like a payment method. So it's been going really well. If you got some high-end records that you're not listening to, duplicates, that kind of thing, I'm getting people sending stuff in. That's the trade-in program. Okay, let's get to this week's new arrivals, starting with the David Gilmour The Luck and Strange concerts. I listened to a couple of tracks of this already because they were previewed on Apple Music. But here it is. This is the 4 LP box set. So the live show, a few live shows. So it's a combination of some stuff from 2024. Italy, the UK, Inuit Dome in Los Angeles, and Madison Square Garden. But great set list. Well, some of his new stuff, and then, classics, Comfortably Numb. High Hopes from the Gilmour era. Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here. Breathe, Time. 4 LP box set. David Gilmour. For Rocktober, a lot of the Rocktober titles were delayed. A lot of stuff was supposed to come out October 3rd. Didn't come out. I got a lot of it today, though. For Rocktober, we got David Lee Roth, The Warner Recordings, 1985 to 1994. We've got 5 albums, Crazy from the Heart, Eat 'em and Smile, Skyscraper, A Little Ain't Enough, and Your Filthy Little Mouth as a 5 LP box set for Rocktober. We've got the Alan Parsons Project, I, Robot. This is the limited edition Super Deluxe box set. Let's see, 4 CDs, a Blu-ray, 45 RPM, 180 gram heavyweight 2 LP vinyl edition in a gatefold sleeve, half-speed mastered by Miles Showell at Abbey Road Studio, Atmos version, all kinds of stuff. Holy cow. Alternate takes. This is pretty, just look at all that text. Those are all tracks. So you've got the double disc 45 RPM half-speed master, and then you've got 4 CDs and a Blu-ray. Great album. I kind of would like to hear some of those bonus tracks. The complete expanded edition of Halloween. Now, there's also a bunch of these I've got on the website, and actually probably in here as well, as just these standalone discs. But we've got Halloween, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends. An essential release for Carpenter collectors and film score fans. This is limited to 1,300 copies on dried blood-colored vinyl. 35 unreleased tracks across 6 LPs. Okay, let's start off with the Muse reissues. I'm just absolutely blown away how nice these came out. So there is a new label called Time Traveler. They are essentially going to be doing a bunch of these Muse reissues. Muse is a fantastic jazz label that really never got reissued, so there's not a ton of these things floating out there. A lot of these records for a lot of years were $5, $10. But in the past 10 years, a lot of these stuff, because they're more like avant-garde / funky, not like, you know, super freeform jazz, but more like avant-garde funky. A lot of those titles have become quite desirable and quite collectible. That's kind of a genre of jazz that's gotten really desirable in the last decade. But a lot of these have become pretty much impossible to find. So here comes this label called Time Traveler, and they're doing all analog, cut directly from the original master tapes by Matt Luthans at the Mastering Lab on this big, thick, look at this, beautiful tip-on Stoughton jacket, you know, a single pocket Tone Poet jacket, essentially. Unbelievable. I mean, these are so well done. I'm thrilled. This is Time Traveler M001, so the first title in the series. But they did a killer job on these. So I'm picking all 3 of these up myself. Kenny Barron, Sunset to Dawn. This is number 2. And then the third title that they did was the Carlos Garnett, Cosmos Nucleus. Again, all analog, cut from the master tape by Matt Luthans. Just beautiful. Let me kind of give you guys, I don't know if you can probably zoom in on this. I'll get it out of the sleeve. But look at that. Beautiful laminated tip-on jacket. Has the MoFi style inner sleeve. Insert. Really cool. I guess this will be the first record I listen to tomorrow when I get to work. Another couple of killer titles, like absolute must-haves, because originals of these sound like crap and are impossible to find. We've got the new Acoustic Sounds Chess Series, Muddy Waters. This is the best of Muddy Waters. Essentially, this is a compilation of a bunch of the singles from back in the day. Beautiful tip-on laminated jacket. It's just fantastic. It's a record, like I said, that is so hard to find an original of. It's not the most audiophile recording, you know, because keep in mind, these were a lot of 50s blues singles. Some of these are sourced from 78. But talk about killer music. Like, this is like a must-have, like essential record. Everybody always talks about records that are essential. This is just one of those records. An essential record. Classic Chicago blues. And then also part of that series, we've got Moanin' in the Moonlight, Howlin' Wolf. Again, if you find this record, it's trash and it's like $1,000. It's just such an expensive record to find in decent shape. So we've got, and this Etta James At Last is coming. There's a ton of great titles coming in this series. Chuck Berry's titles. Really looking forward to it. I was blown away when they announced that I did a standalone video on it talking about it. And yeah, looking forward to the series. Blue Note Classic title. We've got Elvin Jones, Putting It Together. All analog, cut from the original master tape by Kevin Gray. This is a record that I cannot speak highly enough about. I have nothing to compare this to, but this sounds unbelievable. I played this in the store now maybe 15 times, and it smokes. I probably sold 15 copies just from the time I played it in the store. This is almost turning into a running joke. I'll play it, sell a copy. Play it, sell a copy. Antonio Carlos Jobim. This is part of the Verve Vault series. So this is essentially what the Verve by Request should have been, but this is here. This is what we got. These are all the Verve Vault titles are analog, cut from the original master tape by Ryan K. Smith at Sterling Sound. It's in a standard, budget type jacket. It's a gatefold, but the sonics on this will blow you away. Not only that, this is such a fun, accessible bossa nova record. I can't speak more highly about it. It's phenomenal. New Blue Note Classic title. We've got Grant Green's Solid. All analog, cut from the original master tape by Kevin Gray. This is a phenomenal Grant Green record. One of my favorites. Highly recommended. Great jazz guitarist. It's crazy how I'm going to be 4 inches deep into just the analog audiophile reissues. Crazy time. Let's see. Tord Gustafson Trio. Changing Places. This is part of the ECM Luminescence series, which is their analog audiophile series, essentially going back and redoing old ECM titles of the 70s and 80s. This is a 2 LP set. Okay. For Rocktober. This is a must. Come on. Who doesn't want to own this for their collection? This is the Doors' greatest hits. But this is a Rhino Reserve title. So that means lacquer's cut from the original analog master tapes by Matt Luthans at the Mastering Lab. So you're getting an analog cut greatest hits. This is probably being used from the production tape back in the day that they used to make this when it originally came out. But this is a great greatest hits comp. You very, very, very seldomly see audiophile greatest hits records. They typically always cut greatest hits records from digital files now, but this is a great little comp. You've got LA Woman, Touch Me, Break On Through, Light My Fire, Riders on the Storm. I mean, it's a really great comp, part of Rocktober. Another good Rocktober title, also all analog cut from the master tape by Matt Luthans. We've got Fleetwood Mac's Bare Trees. Checking out the cover. It's kind of got that textured cover as well, like the original. Not as textured, but yeah. A record that everybody's been after. I've been getting emails like crazy because this is one of the titles that originally was supposed to come out on the 3rd but got pushed back. Porno for Pyros. This is the self-titled album as a Rhino Reserve. All analog. Let's see. Done by Joe at Sterling Sound. Joe Nino Hernandez. He did the... I think he did some Talking Head stuff that he did a pretty good job on. So, yeah. Another Rocktober Rhino Reserve title. We've got Randy Newman's Trouble in Paradise, done by Matt Luthans at the Mastering Lab. In another Rocktober Rhino Reserve, we've got the Von Bondies, Pawn Shop Heart. Let's see, done by Joe as well at Sterling Sound. This is probably interesting. It doesn't say it was cut from the master tape, so this might have been something that was done digitally back in the day originally. We've got for Rocktober, the New York Dolls, 'Cause I Says So. Produced by Todd Rundgren on limited edition red vinyl. Also for Rocktober, we got Lenny Kravitz, Black and White America. Funk, rock, and soul meets social commentary. 2 LP set. Another Rocktober title. We've got Black Sabbath. We sold our soul for rock and roll on translucent green vinyl. Another Rocktober title. We've got Morphine. Good. The 2020 remaster pressed on forest green vinyl. Another Rocktober title. We've got Typo Negative. The Least Worst Of. On what color vinyl is this? On vinyl for the first time? It doesn't say. Probably black. I'd have to look. Doesn't say it on the hype sticker though. Another Rocktober title. We got The Blue Moods of Spain. 30th anniversary, limited edition 2 LP set on translucent blue vinyl. Tongue-tied there. The Distillers. Coral Fang. Another Rocktober title. Another Rocktober title. We've got Death from Above, 1979. You're a Woman, I'm a Machine. On pink splattered vinyl. I love the Rocktober titles. They're typically exclusive to record stores. It's not something you can just go pick up at a box store. And I always do really well with them. It's something I always appreciate from Rhino. They do it every October, and they do it at the beginning of the year with the Start Your Ear Off Right. Chris Isaak, Forever Blue, 30th anniversary, commemorative edition. This is an RSD Essential, which is kind of record store day type of philosophy throughout the year. You know what I mean? You have to be a store that participates in record store day. They're not made available to box stores, but you know, they come out a couple a month, and it's kind of like a way of keeping the vibe of record store day with a couple of titles going throughout the year. Ghosts, Melora, the deluxe 10th anniversary edition on Surge vinyl. 3 titles from Music on Vinyl from Elvis Presley, all colored and all limited. We've got Elvis Presley recorded live. Let's see. I'm trying to find the 2,000 copies. 2,000 copies. This is number 1331. 2,000 copies on orange colored vinyl. From Elvis Presley Boulevard, Memphis, Tennessee, from Music on Vinyl. Elvis, that's the way it is. This is limited to 2,000 copies on red colored vinyl. Oh, this is number 10. Number 10, Adam, if you're watching, I'll save that one for you. Elvis, Aloha from Hawaii. Limited edition of 2,500 individually numbered copies on yellow colored vinyl. This is a 4 LP set. 2,500 copies. This is number 1767. Parliament. Funkin' Elchi versus the Placebo Syndrome. This originally came... This came with a poster originally or a transfer. I think it was one of the two. Mary 7-3. The debut album from 7 Mary 3 includes 9 bonus tracks pressed on clear and black splatter vinyl. For the box set, kind of a companion piece, we've got the Alan Parsons Project, I, Robot. This is the clear vinyl version. Half-speed remaster at Abbey Road Studios. UFO Phenomenon, limited edition sky blue vinyl. Foreigner, All Engines On, live in London, available for the first time on vinyl. Mastered in high quality 45 RPM audio. Ooh, some more Sparks, the newest album called Mad. This is the special edition. Roller Disco Funk. This is kind of a various artist compilation. The Whispers, Frankie Smith, Candido in Our Life, Instant Funk, Gwen McCrae. Yeah, a lot of good artists, a lot of great soul artists on that. Kool and the Gang, Greatest Hits, a cool dozen from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee. The Meters. Live at the Great American Music Hall. Comes with something. Not only are there records in there, you could tell there's something else in there. From Music on Vinyl, we have Sedan, limited to 500 copies on red colored vinyl. The Weeknd, Beauty Behind the Madness. This is the 10th anniversary edition. Sylvester, Step 2 on Disco Ball Clear Glitter Vinyl. Includes the anthems You Make Me Feel Mighty Real. I actually heard that the other day. Stuck in my head for the last couple days. She did it a little better than me, but you know, I'm not warmed up, so I've got an excuse. Jid, God Does Like Ugly. This is the indie vinyl exclusive. And then I have the exact same album as a translucent tan vinyl variant, probably the standard color. New album by Tame Impala, Deadbeat. This is the indie vinyl version on Coke Bottle Clear vinyl. And then this is the standard black vinyl variant. Let's see, Soul Wax, All Systems Are Lying. And then I have the exact same album as the indie variant on transparent colored vinyl. Doesn't say the color though. Militaria Gun, God Save the Gun, limited edition indie record store exclusive. Tate McRae, The One Day. The Last Dinner Party, From the Pyre on black vinyl. We've got Snooper, Worldwide. This is the indie vinyl variant. So many new releases this week. Ashaniko, Smoochies. What the hell is this? Go online, go to the website, theingroove.com, look at this cover, or pause this video and zoom in, but you really need a high-res image of what's going on here. I'm really curious of what the hell this is. Okay. This is the butter yellow version. I'm not sure what's going on with the teeth. I'm befuddled. Go look at the smoochies. You can get a good laugh in there with me. Lady June, Spaceships on the Blade. Lady June. It's Larry June. I'm just a little traumatized by that last cover. Another Larry June, Until Night Comes. The Stone Roses, the remixes. This is an import. Sony Music out of the UK. Everyone's Talking, new full-length album from All Time Low. Now, I'm thinking this is like an absolute must. This is Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up as a 12-inch single Zoetrope. They're numbered. This is 3124. You've got 5 versions of Never Gonna Give You Up. The Cake Mix, the standard version, the instrumental 12-inch version, the Escape from New York mix, the Escape from Newton mix. Now you can rickroll your buddies with this wonderful Zoetrope 5 different ways. Take some of these out of here. Oh my God, that record again. Simple Minds, Once Upon a Time, 40th Anniversary Edition on red colored vinyl. Texas Southside, cut from analog master tape by Pius. George Michael. Yeah, George Michael. Listen Without Prejudice, Volume 1. Will Linney, Don't Cry Because It's Over. Boris, Drone Evil Example on Relapse Records. Boris, Pink, original CD version, but this is the 2LP. Let's see, I guess the original was probably abbreviated and now you're getting the CD version on vinyl. Meaning the CD tracks, you know, the running order. Jose, Secretos. These are the individual titles for the Halloween box set I showed you earlier. We've got limited bone white with orange splatter vinyl version of the standard Halloween soundtrack. Then we've got Halloween Kills on green splatter vinyl. And then we've got Halloween Ends on red splatter vinyl. Baby Beluga, huh? Let's see, Raffi, Baby Beluga, blue eco-friendly record. Featuring the sing-along favorites, Baby Beluga, Deo, and Thanks a Lot. Pressed on non-toxic, fully recyclable material. Soundtrack to the Minecraft movie. Songs from Tangled. This is a special collector's edition Zoetrope picture disc. From Chesky, this is a one-step. So this is a one-step, but at a very reasonable price. This is from the Chesky Original Masters. The Fred Hirsch Trio plays Ellington, Gillespie, Monk, Shorter, Hancock. That's just a solid little set list there. I don't know if you guys can hear it, man, but the amount of like crazy people have been driving around the store while I've been filming this video has been pretty crazy. Emmanuel Pahud, Mozart Concerto for Flute and Harp, a new classical release from Warner Music. In time for Halloween, we've got the Monster Mash. An interview, let's see, so good little, looks like a good Halloween comp. The Monster Mash, let's twist again. I'm the Ghoul from Wolverton Mountain. Lim from Limbo Rock. The Weird Watusi. Okay, that is it for this week's new arrivals. I've got a couple of restocks. This isn't a restock, but we got the rest of the order. And for the last two one-steps, these Because Sound Matters one-steps, they've been sending us our half an order and then the half order the next week. I don't know why, but that's what's happened. This is a restock from my top 100 imprint analog records you should own list. This is the all analog cut by Kevin Gray from the original master tapes version of one of the greatest albums of all time, Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. Norah Jones, Come Away With Me, also all analog cut from the master tape. Restock of a couple killer OJCs, Lee Morgan's Here's Lee Morgan, all analog cut from the original master tape by Kevin Gray. Matt did a few of them, but that one was done by Kevin Gray. Another absolute audiophile must own. This is from Riverside, Chet Baker's best output. This is Chet Baker's Chet. Probably up there with his best albums. All analog cut from the master tape by Kevin Gray. Same thing, part of the same series, cut from the master tape by Kevin. Chet Baker in New York. And then I got a restock of Steely Dan's The Royal Scam. This is the standard universal pressing, but haven't had it in a little while. I've been waiting for a repress. All right, guys, that is it. You can buy all this stuff online at the website at theingroove.com. Until next time.